Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Asim Afshan Khan. As I said, I'm going to continue with the parenting topic. A lot of confusion. I'm getting a lot of parents ringing me around discipline, how to be with children. My children's not very confident. My children's very sensitive. I don't know how to discipline them. They're always fighting. So we'll do a series. Obviously, I will ask people to from my website leave a message, because I'm going to be inshallah hoping at some point to do some parenting workshops. But I'm just going to give you some kind of tips with regards to going down to the root of parenting. So when I do my talk around parenting, the first question I always ask parents is, what is parenting? And it's very rarely that people put their hand up, and then I encourage them. So parenting, we need to ask our question: what is it when we're parenting? What's the role? What's the function? What do we hope from it? And it's a very important question to ask ourselves, because parenting goes right down to when a child is very, very young. Yes, because it's like, I always describe this like a root. So the root of a plant, what does it need? You know, when you have a plant, you have to nurture the root, which I would say to nurture the root to bear the fruit. So basically, you want to make sure that you're giving the plant enough water, sunlight, oxygen, and as you do that, the root will be strong, and later on the flower will blossom. It's same with parenting, because usually when I hear problems about teenagers, or a child is 8, 9, 10, 11, and they're not doing so well at school, or perhaps something's happening, I always need to know exactly what happened before that. So, for example, did parents, there was a divorce, was there any bullying, was anything shouting happening at home, was any arguments? Because you have to go way back into a child's life to understand the psyche. So it's really important. These formative years are very, very important for a child, because this is where you lay the basis of their self-esteem. And if you have a foundation of a house that's weak, then I'm afraid the house is going to be weak. So we may think about these things perhaps later on, perhaps, which school to send my child, what do I want from my child, but what we don't realize is the atmosphere at home and your relationship with your spouse is the most important thing that impacts on a child's life. And this is what I see when I do my counselling, and when I speak to my clients, they will go back in a second and they'll say, yes, I grew up in an environment where mom and dad were always shouting, there were a lot of arguments. A child's relationship with the father and the mother, especially with the mother, is very crucial for their upbringing, for them to be a solid individual when they grow up. So these are very important things, and we need to reflect on them now when a child is 2, 1.5. What kind of atmosphere are they growing up in? What's happening here? I mean, everybody's going to have an argument, because life is such as that, there's conflicts in marriage and in every relationship. It's how we deal with those conflicts is very, very important. So I always advise couples when they come for counselling is that, if you're going to argue, if there's going to be something disagreement, please do not do it in front of the children, because you do not know how it makes them feel and how anxious they get. I've heard many stories of children telling me when they become adults that, they used to run upstairs, hide in the bathroom, mom used to shout. So one thing I would advise people is that, look, really reflect on your parenting, but reflect in which way are you nourishing them. What are they seeing at home? So the main things you need to be concentrating on is, we are so busy with our lives, we don't even have time to ask our children, are you happy? Are you sad? What's happening? What's not happening? Is there something you want to talk to me about? So the communication becomes very, for example, the way I talk about conscious and unconscious living is that, especially for mothers, and subhanallah, we know the paradise that lies under the mother's feet is because she's constantly thinking about her children, about her life, her husband, this, and she sometimes obviously begins to neglect herself, which is something I'm going to do on another video series, because this is not a good thing to be. For example, who is the captain of the ship? And if the captain goes down, what happens to the ship? So I see a lot of sisters do this, but like I said, I'm going to be discussing it later, has a big impact on parenting as well. So a subject I will bring up on self-care later on, inshallah. But for children, you have to look at the way that your life is. So I had a sister the other day, she was telling me that, oh, my children, they're not listening to me, they're very, they just do what they want to, and I get really fed up and I end up shouting, and I don't want to shout at them. So I asked her, what's been going on with you? Have you been extra busy? What's been happening? And she said, yes, actually, lots been going on. I'm really busy at the moment. And so I said, what, the children, what do they want? They're asking for your time. And the biggest gift you can give a child, they don't need expensive presents. They don't need expensive holidays. You know what a child needs? You. Yeah, your time, your devoted time, yes, where you are giving them quality time. So time isn't something like I always hear brothers say this, you know, when they come for couple counseling, but I do give her time. And their time is when they're on the computer or they're on the phone. This is not quality time. It has to be quality time. So you're spending some time with your children where you don't have anything else in the room, just them, you and them talking. So you're not on the, you know, even if you're doing some washing up or you're doing something, you're spending some time where you know it's just for them. Now that doesn't mean that's all the time is for them, because obviously you have jobs to do, but some time is going to be around them where you're talking to them, you're communicating to them. And the best time I always advise for fathers to bond with their children is usually before they go to bed. So after having a bit of story time with them, talk to them, and also for mothers throughout the day. I mean, for children, you know, the best thing to ask them when they come back from school is not just, you know, how was your day? Because, you know, this is, oh, okay. And children won't say much. But the best thing to ask a child is, you know, what's the best thing that you did today? How do you enjoy it? Yeah. So this is how you would start making communication. So you're building the roots to communication. So when they're a teenager, I guarantee you, if you invest this now, when they're a teenager, you will be able to have a straightforward conversation, not just a list of oh, yes, okay. So this is about the root of a child and how to nourish them. Inshallah, I hope this has been beneficial, and inshallah people will benefit from it. So this is Masim. Any comments, any questions, please do leave them below. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.